Doesn't involve the transfer of any money, I think.
No. $1, I think it's
$1. Item O is the mayor's appointment to the Park and Rec Committee. I have a recommendation. We have one applicant to fill the unexpired term of Laura Thomas to Parks and Rec for the term ending January 31st, 2013. And Will Andreessen is the applicant, and I would recommend him.
I would make a motion we accept the mayor's appointment.
I'll second.
With joy.
Motion by Commissioner Simo, seconded by Commissioner Lucius, to appoint Will Andreessen to the Parks and Rec. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We move on to item T, which is the manager's report.
And I'll try to be brief on actually tonight the projects that are active and that we're all working on. Our large project, phase 1 and 2 Northern Jesseville water and sewer project, moving forward. They're still making progress. Mike, any updates on that? Do you want to give the city commission at this point?
Essentially, they have one crew working on the northeast corner of Jesseville, the water and sewer work, and the second crew started on the remaining phase 1 work down right now by the Public Works garage. And so those two crews will probably be tied up there for a good couple of weeks, maybe a good description. They keep talking about the possibility of another crew to come in and do services, and that would that work would probably lie there in that, let's call it the eastern half of Jesseville. As you can see, the phase 1 work was pretty much paved here in the last couple of weeks, and restoration we're told will be forthcoming here in another week or so, and they have to raise the manhole castings and the like. So that's by the time we get the restoration and raising, that's probably it takes some time, perhaps a month even, and then the next layer of hot mix asphalt will go in that phase 1 area.
The restoration process, does that involve adding the gravel to the shoulders? Is there any gravel that we added to the shoulders?
Well, in these local streets, we've just called for topsoil, because no matter what happens, 3 years later, it's long up to the edge of the road, and that's what people go to.
Okay, but it'll be graded and leveled. Right now, it drops quite a bit off the.
It will be flush when completed.
Yes, I'm asking. Yeah.
I'd like to make a comment that I've taken a couple of trips up to Jesseville and happened to encounter a few residents and asked them how the contractor was, and they all spoke very highly of the contractor, which is good news. You didn't hear that last year.
And they're getting the roads put back together as they're going through it. It does take quite a bit of time. The residents go through a very difficult period during the summer, but they've been very accommodating, and they're getting some of the roads even up in the Jesseville area are starting to come back with gravel on them.
Yep, they more or less have one truck just kind of steady. It seems like slow, but they just keep plugging away and graveling behind themselves there. There's a process associated with the testing of all these new facilities going in and making sure that they're right too. They don't want to cover up with gravel too quickly.
With one, just to touch on that, there was one woman who contacted me and lost her muffler on one of those bumps on the hill down from Newport School. Something got buried there, and then it got piled up, and it looks like a speed bump. And great speed bump. And I don't know if it could be graded off a little bit flatter there. Just it's their access route back to Bundy or to Bonnie from your house.
I'll take a look tomorrow morning, Mr. Mayor.
It might not be possible until you finish there, but that was a concern I said I would address.
All right, a couple other brief items. We talked about the scrap tire grant. The city received a grant from the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, essentially to help get rid of old tires out of people's garages. And again, it's a grant basically for residential homeowners to bring in those, 3, 4, 5, people up to 7 tires, bring them in, drop them off, they'll take those, and then get those disposed of. We do have dates selected now. The contract has been finalized. It'll be effective starting Saturday, August 6th. And we'll have someone there, because we're going to have to actually check all these tires in, so we're just going to have someone bring a whole truckload of tires. We'll start Saturday, August 6th from 8 to noon. We'll have someone who'll be down at the public safety garage. Behind public safety, we're going to have a corral set up out there. We'll put the tires in. And it'll be on Saturday, and then the following week, Monday through Friday, people will come and bring tires out to check in with Liz down at public safety. She'll have a list of property owners, and she'll check on up as they bring tires in, make sure they're bringing in the correct number, if you will. And then the following Saturday, August 13th, again from 8 to noon, we'll have a staff out there basically, accepting tires. So it's essentially 1 week people will have to bring tires in and get rid of those, tires they have stored in their back garage for many, many years. And again, it's residential only. That was the stipulation of the grant. They're trying to encourage people, instead of throwing those tires out into the ditch or in the back 40, to bring them in and dispose of them properly. So,
question about all the tires that were accumulated this spring.
yes, those will be included.
Those are
with this.
included.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
And we'll get more information out to the public on that, so try to encourage people to bring it in. It's 1 week only, and then a truck comes in, and we can only go up to 3,000 tires, so I don't know if we all have that many or not, but once we get to the 3,000, then that's as many as we can take. So we'll be able to. Another project that just got finished last week, Bob, you want to touch on the Mount Zion Reservoir cleaning?
We had Liquid Engineering from Billings, Montana. They came in with a crew of 3. They scuba dived our Mount Zion tank. Yes, they were disinfected before they went in. This is the second time they've been up here. They were up here 13 years ago. 98, we probably had about 4 to 6 inches of sediment. Supposed to be draining the tank pretty good and a big break. So we had about a half inch to an inch at the most. It was compacted. They vacuumed it out. So I had a notice in the paper on the radio. On Thursday, I noticed we had dirty water throughout the town, and that's because it got close to the output. And then Friday, we had a clean tank. They videotaped it and they inspected it. And I didn't look at the videotape. A little bit more than an hour, but for a 75-year-old tank, it's in very good condition. I think the biggest fault was the ladder going in was in poor condition, but it's been in the tank for 75 years. Minor little cracks, that's about it. So, of course, they recommend every 3 to 5 years, and that's what we should be doing on a regular basis. But I was really happy with the results too.
So that's something we'll try to do every 3 to 5 years, just to keep that tank clean and have it inspected. It's a great resource for the community. Just 2 other items. We've got notice that the MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation, will be installing traffic counters in town here over the next week. Basically, periodically they do traffic counts. So on US 2 and VR2, you'll see the ropes across the street, and they'll be doing traffic counts over the next few weeks. And then last but not least, and Karen, you want to touch on number 16, applications for city commission are coming up and some deadline dates?
Sure. Applications for the Iron City Commission are being accepted in my office. The deadline is Tuesday, August 16th at 4 p.m. Application information will be noticed in the newspaper and on the city website. Application packets are in my office for pickup.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on then to other matters. Commissioners, have any other matters to discuss tonight?
Just have a quick update. We had the Civic Center board meeting last Monday, I think it was. And the manager here and the board really tried to have reestablish the presence of the Civic Center in the community by doing various things. And cage fighting event that they had, they just analyzed their sales. They did $12,700 as a result of that. $7,000 was ticket sales, $3,000 was beer, and the rest was advertising. And the expenses were only $5,000. So $7,700, $8,000 for the first time doing that is pretty significant, and they're trying to make it more versatile than just ice hockey. So they should be congratulated with that, and they've been boosted inside that and pulled it off successfully.
That's great. There aren't many things where that could be done.
Anyone could ask you a question about this? Have they decided to move forward with their well?
Yeah, tomorrow night tomorrow afternoon is the Board of Trustees meeting for the college, and that's the final step is to get the college's approval since it's their property, but I think that's just a formality. As soon as they get the approval, we're going to start immediately.
Great. Any other matters?
I had a couple. In our street project, there are a couple of situations where there are gaps between, one block long gaps between pavement, new pavement, and new pavement.
Mm-hmm.
For example, on Brogan Street between Harris and Smith. Is there any way that we can get those done? Is there anything going to happen to those? Or are they just going to stay as bad as they are?
That would be the streets that we're not doing any water or sewer work on, you see? And the idea there is, with the project, they're putting in, water, sewer, and bonus that you get in the street surface. So there will be gaps in the neighborhoods where you'll have a block or two that will have no street. And again, I think as we prioritize the funds that we have for street work going forward, we're going to have to look at those areas and see how many spots there are, and then over the next few years try to finish off those sections of roads. I think we're going to have a number of them in both Jessville and Norrie when the project's done. There still will be blocks that haven't had anything done because their water and sewer weren't in a city didn't need to be replaced. So I think as we start prioritizing, and there's so many priorities for streets that it's almost way more than we have funds, but we want to try to finish those neighborhoods off, I guess. But it may not be this year. We spent this year's funds in another neighborhood. Next year we have to prioritize a little differently.
Another thing that I noticed that the compost area has been locked on weekends. Seems kind of, that's when people have time to do their drop off. Is this because of illegal, to prevent illegal dumping, or what is going on?
What we typically do is the compost site is open during the day. In the evenings, we'll have a lot and then open up again in the morning is the theory. So again, during the day, people can drop things off. But at night, we were finding that we were getting a lot of things dropped off out there that should be dropped in there. So we were locking it during the evening periods, just for that security purpose and trying to minimize it. Typically, it should be open in the mornings.
On weekends also?
And weekends also, right? Okay. Yeah. But we'll check to make sure that's...
That might have been an inadvertent day where it just didn't
Yeah, it should be getting opened up on the weekends, so we'll check that. And
we're down to one officer on day shift, so if he does get tied up on complaints, we'll not get open until he clears from the and that's what happened last Saturday.
I had noticed it also on one Sunday, so I didn't know if that was a pattern.
Yeah, because currently now they open up 3 gates on weekends, and depending on their call volume, can affect the time they open and like that.
Is that our top of one sign in one of those gates?
Norrie Park, Mulvine, and the compost.
You're still on. You're done. Anybody else?